Begin here. Officials in Penobscot County say there is a noticeable amount of smoke lingering in the greater Bangor area this morning. Officials say it is due to a fire that is at the Eagle Point Energy Center, which is in Orrington, formerly known as the Perk Plant. They say the fire started about 9 o'clock last night and crews are still on the scene. Likely they'll be there most of the day. The plant also caught fire back in October of 24 and burned for more than a week at that time. Certainly we'll keep you updated as we continue to learn more.
The group Protect Girls Sports in Maine is appealing a judge's ruling to block its referendum question from the November ballot. The question would have asked voters if they want Maine law to ban trans students from sports and facilities aligning with their gender identity. Earlier this month, Maine Secretary of State ruled that several thousand of the petition signatures that were turned in were not valid, leaving it short of the number required to qualify for the ballot. The group argues it did submit enough valid signatures. The appeal now heads to the Maine Supreme Court with arguments set to begin on July 1st.
As election workers continue to process votes from across the state, the Secretary of State's office has announced the dates for 3 recounts. Next Monday, poll workers will recount the tally for the Democrat who's running for state Senate in District 30. That covers Gorham and part of Scarborough. There will be 2 recounts a week from tomorrow for the Republican House seat in District 49, that is in coastal Saginaw County, and the others for Democratic primary for House District 135, that is the greater Kennebunk area. Later today, we are expected to learn the results of the races that ended up going to ranked choice voting.
Yesterday, there was some misinformation circulating online about issues with the process. Our Christian Harsa explains.
But there has been some misinformation, so let me make sure everyone has the correct information.
Deputy Chief Secretary of State Kate McBrien addressing campaign officials, News Center Maine, and the live stream audience about issues with 4 Maine towns.
Bodenham, as you all know, that memory stick, we just couldn't read it. We just scanned the paper ballots for them and got the tabulation that way.
For Bath, the town didn't send one of its memory sticks.
So law enforcement yesterday just went and picked up the stick. So everything is here, everything is accounted for. Nothing's been missing.
Deputy Secretary of State Julie Flynn says Limestone sent 2 thumb drives. One drive had all the election results, including the absentee votes, and then a second drive with just the absentee votes that was used as a test. The team at Augusta uploaded both, double counting the absentees.
We're going to take the test results out, and we'll be left with the election night results that they correctly sent to us and reported.
There was also an issue with Biddeford, which sent a local flash drive, not a state flash drive. Director of Elections Heidi Peckham says the 2 are encrypted differently.
A state memory stick does not go through a local programming and vice versa for any kind of ranked choice elections.
By 2 p.m., police had brought the correct drive to Augusta. Earlier in the day, the Maine Republican Party had posted on Facebook incorrectly saying the flash drive was lost. The party has since updated its post. In the update and on the phone with Communications Director Christina Parker, the GOP was firm that Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, who is also running for governor as a Democrat, is responsible.
Shanna Bellows is in charge of Maine elections, and she is the top of that security. So anything that happens under her leadership is happening, quote, under her leadership.
That was Christian Harsa reporting. Secretary of State Shanna Bellows has opted to be removed from the counting process.
Independent candidate for Governor Rick Bennett and 2 state lawmakers were in Portland yesterday to advocate for some subcontractors in Maine who say they haven't been paid for a major project on the waterfront. They're calling on Amber Infrastructure, an asset management firm that's based in Europe, and FCL Builders, an out-of-state general contractor, to pay local contractors millions of dollars in back pay they say they're owed. The lawmakers and the subcontractors say that the cold storage warehouse that they built was promoted as a major investment in Maine's working waterfront and regional food economy. Bennett says that the promise doesn't match the reality for the contractors who are still just waiting to be paid.
That promise rings hollow when the people who built it are still waiting on payment for work already completed. It is not progress when the project was financed on the backs of Maine contractors.
Now, Mark Curtis, who's the general manager of Gorham Sand and Gravel, says he is one of about a dozen subcontractors still waiting to be paid. The owner of the cold storage facility said in a statement that a large number of local and national companies have been paid by Amber and FCL over the last couple of months. The owner did go on to say, though, a small number of local contractors are still involved in what they're describing as complex litigation with FCL.